After World War II in Europe, we had nothing to do except to break up the outfit, and I was in Germany, and the first sergeant told me about a job that was open at Biarritz for GIs. That was the Army University they set up in Biarritz, France. And they had a music department that was very fine. And they wanted some teachers, so he said, I think you ought to apply for that job. And he said, I'll send your papers to headquarters right away and you can get going. So I did. I went down to Biarritz, and of course it was beautiful there by the ocean. It was October. And one day I was sitting in the park on a bench and looking out towards the lighthouse, which you see in travel folders quite often, and I recognized that scene. It was a great pleasure to be there. And it was a very nice day, and the waves were rolling in and crashing on the rocks down below the sidewalk that went along the beach, along the side of the beach. And while I was there, I wanted to take a picture of the lighthouse. And there was a lady, a French lady, down there sitting on the stone fence. And down beneath the stone fence, the waves were crashing on the rocks. And she looked very strange sitting there and looking down all the time. And so I went down and got closer, and I said, would you mind if I take you in the picture? I'm taking a picture of the lighthouse. And she said, no, not at all. Then she went on and looked down at the sea. And I sensed there was something wrong, something that she was very despondent. So, always anxious to try out my French, I said, what are you doing? And she looked at me kind of funny. So I'm looking at the ocean, looking at the sea. And I said, why are you looking at the sea? And she said, because I'm sad. And I thought to myself, well, that's strange. If you say that to an American girl looking down at the ocean, she'd say, what's it to you, bud, you know? And I thought that was a very, very interesting, very strange. And later on, when I walked up on my way to teach, I walked up the sidewalk and she went into the town. I went up to the conservatory, which was on a bluff overlooking the ocean. I found out that she was despondent because a boyfriend she'd been going with had ditched her in Bordeaux, in the town of Bordeaux. Well, anyway, doesn't matter. Anyway, I went into a little Polish cafe where I used to stop on the way to go to teach and get a cup of coffee, and they had a grand piano in there, a very good piano. And I sat down and I started to play what I'd just gone through, what I'd just seen. And it came right out. Again, it was a spontaneous improvisation that worked into this piece, which I could call the Song of Bérengère, which was the lady's name, but it's easier to call it the lady who looked at the sea, the lady who looks at the sea. So here's the way it goes. Incidentally, the sound of the waves coming in and going out is what I'd been entranced by. That is probably this. bass. I was at a GI dance the night before, and they played a number called the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe, and this is part of that piece. And that came into the same piece, so I incorporated it and called it Prelude Number 1. It's the first prelude I wrote in Europe. It's really the first good piano piece I wrote.